Live from inside a huge jar of smiles and dials, it's the Grandma's Virginity Podcast.
All right. Welcome to episode number 5 of the Grandma's Virginity Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Roiland. With me to the left of me is Ryan Ridley.
Heyo.
And in front of me, Jackie Buscarino.
Hello, I'm sick.
What do you like to do, Justin, when you're at Comic-Con?
God. Okay, well, I discovered this years ago, and the room was just fucking perfectly placed. It was right in the middle. Not too high, not too low, but right in the middle of the Hyatt building, facing the Marriott building. Mm-hmm. But, like, we get into the room, and the first thing I'm thinking is, fuck, if we had some binoculars, maybe a spotting scope, a telescope, I don't know, just something, like, we could totally fucking see into all those rooms at the Marriott. Mm-hmm. Like,
peep.
Yeah. So literally the first thing we did, literally, is we hopped in my car and we went to a Big Five, which was a few miles away, and I spent like $400. I bought a fucking really nice I bought a really badass telescope. I bought a spotting scope, and then I bought a pair of binoculars. And we went back to the room, and the telescope sucked. It didn't work. But the spotting scope and the binoculars were fucking insane.
What did you see?
Just everything and anything, and at any given point in time.
Nudity?
Yeah, a little bit of nudity.
I don't know if I want to see any of the guests at Comic-Con.
Saw a guy beating off.
I don't want to. God.
We saw the night you weren't there. The craziest, or maybe it was Abed. I don't know who was there, but it was like the craziest thing I saw. It was me and another friend, and I can't remember who it was. And we saw there was a huge like party going on, sort of directly across from us height-wise, and in the and it was all like people who clearly were dressed up as characters during the day, but they were not in costume. So there was a
sweaty,
guy,
smeared makeup on their faces.
Yeah,
still.
and there was a guy who was obviously Two-Face because he had like half of his hair dyed white and the other black.
Yeah.
But he wasn't dressed up. It was just you could see it because of his hair.
He had like pajamas on or something. Or...
No, they were just dressed in regular clothes.
Yeah.
But it was like a big party, and there's people on the balcony smoking weed, and they were drinking. And like there was these two girls sort of dressed in like anime like frilly things, and they were dancing and making out with each other, and then one would go and make out with a guy, and then they'd make out with each other, and the whole time I'm just like, holy shit, this is fucking better than anything in the world. Like what's going on? What's gonna happen next? You know? And then the thing that was weird is like a guy comes out with like a pipe, but it wasn't weed.
A crack pipe?
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a weed pipe.
So scandalous.
And I was like, holy shit, these people, what the fuck is going on? But, I mean, there's just, whatever. The point is that at any given moment, at any point in time, during the day or night, if all else failed, if you were walking around the show floor and it was just sweaty and stinky and gross and you were, like, exhausted and you had a rash in between your legs from walking and it was like, fuck this, you'd go back to the hotel room. You'd fucking grab the spotting scope and another person with the binoculars. The binoculars had a 9-window radius, like 9-window square, 3 up, 3 across. So you could easily scan and get a good idea of, there's activity here. And the best part was the Marriott logo was up at the very top. So the spotting scope was like one room. You could zoom in a lot tighter. So the way it would work is the person with the binoculars would do a sweep of rooms, and then they'd see activity, and they'd say, Okay, listen.
Go under the R.
Go under the R and go down 7 rooms.
Like a bingo card.
Exactly. And then with the spotting scope, you'd focus in on the R, and then you'd count down 7, and then boom, you're there.
Yeah.
And we had a tripod, we would lock it in, and it was so much fun. We'd just drink and watch people. I loved it.
That would be great if you witnessed like during this crazy party, like someone come in dressed as like, I don't know, like a Klingon. Or something, you know what I mean? With like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just start capping everybody at this party. You just witness some insane murder gangland hit at Comic-Con. Because these guys are like, they're doing drugs and they're like making out. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, what's this scene here?
I think it's great that there's a place that they can all get together and like do it or whatever.